The Blood Angels are the noble and courageous scions of the Primarch Sanguinius, who was known as the Great Angel, the Brightest One, the Master of Hosts, and many other titles and honorifics. In armor of rich gold and bold crimson and mournful black do they descend from on high into glorious battle. There do they smite the foes of the Imperium, purging the unclean, scouring the heretic, and liberating the faithful. The Blood Angels have a strong bond and blood link with their Primarch Sanguinius. Experiences are encoded into their gene seed, and no memory is more powerful than that of his last duel with Horus. During this fight, the Blood Angel's gene sire was struck so dolorous a blow that it wounded his very soul, and has resounded through the spirits of his scions even unto the 41st millennium. To the ignorant, a warrior in the grip of the Black Rage is simply consumed by irrepressible anger. In reality, he no longer has any awareness of who or where he is, believing himself to be Sanguinius in his final hours, fighting in the honorific battles of the Horus Heresy. Brothers consumed in such a way are inducted into the Death Company, the ranks within which they fight one battle in their Primarch's name. On the eve of battle, the Blood Angels bend the knee and turn their thoughts to Sanguinius' sacrifice. Chaplains pace amongst the warriors, blessing each other while chanting the Mori Patri, the Mass of Doom. They take careful note which warriors slur their speech, are glazed of eye, or appear overly excitable, for these are most likely to succumb to the Black Rage. Most do not, as much of the training has been dedicated to suppressing the strengths of this affliction. For some, however, its call is too strong, and the memories of their Primarch too overwhelming. These warriors collapse into the chaplain's arms and are inducted into the Death Company. Chaplain Lemartes fell to the Black Rage during the liberation of Hadrath 6. Unlike the warriors of the Death Company, who spearheaded the planet strike, Lemartes survived and carved a bloody path through the Orc defenders, finally collapsing from his wounds only when the battle was won. Then he was brought to the field Apothecarium, inside the now captured fortress, to await the arrival of Astaroth, Redeemer of the Lost. Yet when Astaroth arrived to deliver the chaplain into death's embrace, Lemartes demanded to live. Such a thing was unheard of. Through his eyes was bloodshot and his muscles was taut with fury. Lemartes' words were clear and cogent, whilst members of the Death Company were often so deranged that Astaroth had to best them in combat before he could take their lives. Never before had one challenged him so much in a lucid fashion, quashing all dissent. Astaroth ordered that the chaplain be placed in stasis and returned to Baal under the chapters, librarians, and sanguinary priests could make a full examination of him. The investigation took several months, during which Lemartes was largely kept in stasis to ensure the safety of those around him. But the results seemed to reinforce Astaroth's hopes. The chaplain was unquestionably in the grip of the Black Rage. For all the physical signs were there, yet his mind was not riven with insanity. Through an act of incredible willpower, Lemartes appeared able to hold his madness in check. Several sanguinary priests argued that this was but a temporary respite, but Astaroth was not so sure, refusing to slay Lemartes, as many wished. He awoke the chaplain from his enforced slumber and offered him a way in which he could continue to serve. So did Lemartes become the guardian of the lost and the wielder of the ancient blood Crozius. Welcome everyone, this is Baz40K, and today I've got a painting video for y'all, and I'm basically just going to go over some of the techniques that I used for painting the Death Company and Lemartes. So we're going to start off with the actual jump pack units. First, I did a Chaos Black primer, and then I dry brushed a Dawnstone Gray over the armor. And what that did was it kind of gave the armor a more scarred look to it, and it really highlighted some of the edges, and I think it turned out really great to make it look like they've been in battle. And then with some of the rest of the details on these guys, I did most of their plating, the pauldrons, and the Achillas in Scoriax bronze. I then did the X's and their guns, as well as the chainsword guards in Mephiston red. And then I did their eyes in Mephiston red with a slight dot of Corax white in some of their lenses to make sure that the lenses kind of pop. I then took the lead belcher and went over most of the jump pack areas, the intakes and the outtakes, as well as the barrels and the chain swords and some of the hilts of the chain swords. I then took a wraithbone and did most of the purity seals, as well as some of the marks and leather bits into a wraithbone, and painted a very light wraithbone on some of the leather bits. I then took a Baraknar burgundy and applied that to the top of that wraithbone on most of the leather bits to give it a very worn leather look. And then for the rest of the models, I mainly took an Agrax Earthshade and shaded some of the areas in which the bones and the leather, as well as some of the marks, to darken up those areas and to make them look more battle scarred, as well as just used or preserved. And so with Lemartes, I basically did the same thing, as well as I made sure to get his base in Wraithbone first. Then I did an Agrax Earthshade on the base. Then I did the steps in a Corax White, a light Corax White, as well as shaded that back up with Agrax Earthshade. I then put most of his silver bits and his armor in lead belcher again, as well as the jump pack. And then I also shaded that back down with Agrax Earthshade to give it a more rusted look. And with most of this, especially the head and the right pauldron, I did in a Wraithbone again, and then softened that back up with an Agrax Earthshade, and then from there highlighted some of the areas back up with a Wraithbone and Corax White. And you'll see some of the areas as well I did in a bronze, the Scoriax bronze, like I did the pauldrons and the Achilles for the jump pack intercessors. And I did his gun in brass scorpion, as well as one of these Infernus Marines in brass scorpion. And so these guys were a whole lot of fun to build. Definitely one of the coolest units to build, because I love the Death Company. They're a great unit, and also some of the coolest ones in the lore, especially Lemartes. He's super awesome. And what I think will happen with these guys is I hope to really use them on the tabletop here in the future. I really want to see how they play, and I'm excited to basically just get to use them, because I really like the way they look, and I think hopefully y'all will like the way they look. And you'll see in the close-up shots that I do that they're definitely a lot more detailed than some of the other units that I've got. And I think that these guys are definitely a good addition to the Blood Angels army that I've got so far. Most of it is a more shooty style army, so I wanted to get some of these guys in here because they're just, they're cool. Blood Angels, jump packs, that's just how it goes. So hopefully y'all enjoyed today's video, and I wanted to make sure that y'all got a good close-up picture of these guys and all the work that I did on them. It took me about about 2 hours each on each model, a little bit more if I messed up and here and there. And Lemartes took a little bit longer, obviously, because he's a more detailed model, but I definitely think I did him justice. And so hopefully y'all really like these models, and hopefully y'all like today's video. if you want to, feel free to comment and give me any kind of constructive criticism that y'all have for sprucing these models up even more. And be on the lookout for my next painting video, which will be the Dark Angels Hellblasters. And then I will likely be doing a new army, Adeptus Sororitas, and that will be a whole lot of fun. Definitely stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.